Yo, what's up, everybody? Saturday, August 9th. I just got back from fishing. I went to the beach today, did a little surf fishing, but I didn't catch anything. The surf was pretty rough, and my setup is too light. My tackle's too light. I was fishing with like a 6-foot light spinning rod. I need to get a surf casting rod, which I'm gonna get when I come back from Montana. But and then I almost got my truck stuck in the sand. I got stuck in some deep sand. My truck is not 4-wheel drive, and I started to get a little worried because as I gave it gas and the wheels were digging in. Luckily, I was able to rock it back and forth, and I got out. I got a little nervous that I was gonna need, I don't know what, but yeah. So I wanted to do this video yesterday, but I got back from my boxing sparring late, so I didn't have a chance. But remember how they were all saying, like on TV and online posts, how everybody was kind of painting this dire scenario because of the Treasury refunding that was coming up, right? Because the debt ceiling got lifted, and now Besant Treasury was going to sell a bunch of securities. And I did a bunch of videos on this, how they freak out every freaking time. These people, it's the same crap, it's the same garbage. You know, the world is coming to an end, Treasury refunding, the bond market's going to tank, it's going to get crushed. I mean, so last week, which was like the first week of this refunding, if you want to call it, Treasury sold 373 billion of securities last week. 373 billion, almost a half a trillion, almost 400 billion. And the 10-year yield, which is the benchmark yield, dropped from 438 down to 428. And it was below 420, but it popped back up. But still, 10 basis points lower than when that 373 billion of securities were sold. So my question is this, and I told you guys exactly that this was going to happen. Every single freaking time we have to go through the same bullshit with all of these guys. So here's my question. How long do we have to put up with these imbeciles and these morons who go on TV, who go on CNBC, who go on Fox Business, or who post up shit online? These people, analysts, economists, financial talking heads, pundits, I don't know what you want to call them. I call them idiots, I call them morons. How long do we got to listen to this garbage? Like every single freaking time, and they're always wrong. And how these people are treated as there's some kind of, these elevated geniuses. They're idiots. But I have to say that I'm conflicted a little bit. And here's why. I make money off of this. And I tell you guys, if you go against ignorance, if you go against stupidity, if you go against a wrong understanding, a blatantly obvious wrong understanding, then you're literally taking these guys' money. They're literally writing checks to you. And that is your duty to do that. I mean, I've done videos talking about, my days as a floor trader. When I was a successful floor trader, it's because I had an edge. Somehow I had an edge. Either I had inside information, which I've talked about, in the past when I was an oil trader. I had a friend at a big giant oil company. He used to tell me, he'd call me up in my booth and say, Mike, go buy 100 heating oil or go buy 100 gasoline. I'm coming in after that, and we did that. We played that game. I made a ton of money. But that's because I had some kind of inside information. The other edge I had when I first started out was that as a market maker in the pits where I got the bid, I got the offer every time because I was friends with brokers who were executing orders. And then I've done videos talking about guys like Griffin. I remember his name this time, Citadel, right? Where his company, basically what it does is it front runs orders. It buys order flow from like Schwab and Fidelity and these companies. And they have Citadel has their computers, their servers, or their computers next to the New York Stock Exchange servers right there, or out at the Illinois data center for the CME. And they front run orders, okay? Ken Griffin, finally remembered this guy's name. So a lot of you guys, you try to play that game. And I keep telling you, like, that's a losing game. You're not going to beat these guys like Ken Griffin and guys at Virtue, not my friend, but a guy I knew, Vincent Viola, who founded Virtue Financial, does the same thing. It's one of these algo shops, very successful. You're not going to beat these guys at their game. But like having knowledge, having understanding, first of all, I think it's much more zen. It's much more relaxed. I'm not sitting there like with my eyes glued to the screen for fucking, 12 hours a day or whatever, pardon my language. Like so many, 15 screen, I see these, setups, guys sitting there in their office, 20 screens in front of them with everything going on, CNBC, Fox Business, shit, tick data, 5-minute, 10-minute, hourly charts, this, that, news scroll. You got to be out of your mind to do something like that. I go fishing, or I go to the range, or I do something. I take a hike because I just use their ignorance against them. Now, I said I'm conflicted because here's why. At the same time, and I kind of alluded to it, I'm a guy who likes to hear the truth. I'm a guy who is, let's call it, a proponent of truth, of real understanding. Like, I've been on this MMT thing for 25 years, trying to educate people, trying to put these concepts out there so people understand. So like, that's been kind of like my mission, because I believe in helping people understand. But at the same time, if these guys knew all this stuff, these idiots, these morons who go on TV every quarter and say the refunding is going to cause the end of the world or whatever, if all these guys knew, that would take away my edge. And I think I got the best edge because, like I said, it's zen. I'm not sitting there glued like some of you want that. And basically what you have signed up for is a job. Okay, you go to work every morning, a job, and you sit there and you look at your screens, and maybe you're able to extract, I don't know, X dollars every day or every month. Maybe you're positive every month, maybe 1 month you're slightly down. And so you make yourself a salary. You got a job, congratulations. I'm not interested in a job. I'm interested in building my wealth. And the way I do that is knowledge, behavior, and a process. So like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. How long do we have to listen to this crap? Like that's a hypothetical, it's a rhetorical question. I'm putting it out there. I don't really care. I mean, I do care in a sense because it angers me that these guys are kind of put up on a pedestal like that, and people think, oh, we better listen to what this person says or that person says, and like they really know nothing. And then the crazy part about it is it keeps getting recycled over and over and over again. Like, I don't know, like do people have some kind of short-term memory issues? Like nobody would ask these guys, hey, you said that last time? And that terrible doomsday thing that you were predicting, the collapse of the bond market, whatever, that never happened. I used to have a radio show back in the day from 2004 to 2009. I had a radio show and I would have guests on. And I would ask them, hard questions. I had guests that hung up on me and left the interview. I didn't care, man. I probably wasn't the highest rated show. Obviously not. It's not around anymore. And it was a very niche show. It was like a business radio station. And, I was doing the MMT stuff when back then nobody heard about MMT. It was only me. People hung up. They went off the interview because I said, you said this, and then this thing happened. It's just, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So you would never find that happening on these shows, or some editor questioning, that somebody posts up on some website or something like that. Like, hey, you submitted that article to us, last quarter or 6 months ago, and that thing didn't happen, and now you're submitting the same discussion, the same article. Like, why? Nobody asks those questions. Anyway, that's it for today. A day without fishing is like a day without sunshine. So I got to get a new rig. I mean, what I got is great for fresh water, light. We got canals around here. I see people catching stuff from time to time, but I got to get a new setup. All right, everybody, please like and subscribe, and go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and weekend. Bye.